We're going to do a Scorpio full moon card reading, mostly because, today is the Scorpio full moon, and normally I do this beforehand so you can kind of get the gist of it because it amplifies the energy. And although I would say everybody's been feeling it for at least a week, it hasn't really let up. I will say usually by the moon phase, people have kind of settled more into their energy, but it honestly feels like it's almost ramping up. Like this Scorpio full moon on May 12th, 2025 has a lot more intense energy, similar to like eclipse energy. So we're going to do a card reading. And I am pulling up, my dragon candle holder, because we're going to call in the dragon protection energy. Also, I have my my snake selenite, because it is the year of the snake, and this full moon in Scorpio really does have a lot of shedding energy. It's very much this like things are coming to the surface, and I have had my phone on do not disturb all day long, and yet I still have received messages from 3 of my friends, all of which, no, not even all of them have strong Scorpio placements, but if you do have a strong Scorpio placement, it's like those that do are like drowning, which is saying something, because Scorpio is a water sign and Scorpios can live at the bottom of the ocean. And yet this moon has it feeling like they're drowning. So, if you are feeling that way, please know that it's not just you. You're not crazy. This is intentional. There are things that are coming to the surface specifically. I'm going to use my Athame. We're going to clear up some energy. Bringing in some, it is the flower moon, so like gorgeous. Okay, I'm gonna set up some barriers of protection, and only those that are for the highest and greatest good of all involved are welcome. So this is a card reading for the collective. I am pulling the reading out of the Work with the Moon workbook. This is one of my companies. So every new and full moon comes with this workbook. There were some fabulous questions in it. This is Work with the Moon, Scorpio full moon workbook. Questions specific to what's going on with this particular moon phase, including like some high intense Pluto energy. So because the Pluto is the ruler of Scorpio, and there's a lot of activation happening with Pluto at this time. And so, some of the questions are like, what's the pattern I've always repeated in times of stress or confusion, and what would it look like to do the exact opposite? If I could let my identity evolve without needing to explain the shift, what would I do next? There's definitely some really great questions in here. I've already done mine because I was chomping at the bit. So, let's open up to this card spread. This card spread is the Sacred Adjustment, because there is a yod that is pointing to this full moon in Scorpio. And the yod is a finger of fate or finger of God. It's a aspect pattern in the astrological chart of this new moon, full moon. And yods are often shift points. They're like up levelers. Like if you're, I'm not a gamer, but if you do play any sort of video games, it's the leveling up. It's when you get to a point where it's like, oh, you get a chance to just like skip and go up. So That's kind of the energy of what's happening. A lot of times that leveling up means that there's a shedding that needs to happen. What you got used to this level and you got really good at it and things were going great, and yet you had to shed some things and things got a little bit harder. So you're in an adjustment. Things need to shift a little bit for you to acclimate to this new level. So we got a jumper card. I'm also pulling from the Power of Surrender deck by Judith Orloff, because surrender, the interesting thing about Pluto, Pluto's often known as the planet of transformation. It's often known as the death and rebirth planet, manipulation, control. Those are all kind of the shadow ones. Not all of them, but those last two, manipulation, control, are definitely shadow aspects of Pluto. And the high vibration of Pluto is surrender. And surrender doesn't mean just like, oh, I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to sit on my ass and just let it happen. That's not surrender. Surrender is actually releasing the expectations of the outcome. Okay? So we get this opportunity to pull some cards, and we get some opportunity to surrender some things. So the first card is the misalignment. What part of me is no longer compatible with where I'm going? Okay, you're at this other level and now you're up leveling. So what is now, like, what needs to actually be let go of? You can't take the potion with you. You can't take that specific weapon with you to the other level. It was only on that level. And so the weapon of, like, let's think, I mean, we'll find out what the misalignment is, but you know how things like your people pleasing or something that has been like something that has been a protection to you. Scorpio full moon has very much been something that has drawn out the truth. It's been hard to keep anything in and clamp down, and we are feeling it, and we're needing to express it, because other things that are activating in the chart as well are opening all of us collectively, to actually saying the things, doing and saying the things. So first card, misalignment. This card reveals what's rubbing, clashing, or no longer in harmony. The energy here isn't wrong, but it can't stay the way it is. I appreciate that it says it isn't wrong, because it's not. It was a survival or a way of being, and now it's time to move on. So we've got card 1, the misalignment. Card 2, the tension point. So this is where the adjustment is. This is what you're being asked to adjust. And what adjustment to make. This is a sacred pivot, the shift in behavior, perspective, communication, or identity that will open the path forward. It may not feel easy, it rarely does, but it will feel true. Okay? Card number 2. And card number 3, the integration path. What skill, gift, or support can I lean into to ease the shift? Okay, now you're on a whole new level. So now you have a new arsenal at your disposal, and you have new gifts, new skill sets. So what is the thing that's actually going to help you move forward in this new phase, this new level? That one. It's funny, I don't want it. We'll see if I need but it was like, pick me. It's like, I don't know if I want to. That was weird. Okay, I'm actually going to pick a surrender card for each. Because why not? We can do what we want here. Whew. That's the second one. Okay. That's the third one. Okay, and don't forget we have a jumper as well. So I know you can't see. It's a little close. So I'm going to bring these so you can see it a little bit more. Okay, first card. The misalignment, what part of me is no longer compatible with where I'm going? Haha, we have the Chariot. Okay, I gotta move my face. The Chariot. Now, this is your willpower. This is like forcing things to happen. This is trying to make what you want happen to happen. This is I really do see this as the willpower. This is like you literally pushing, you getting behind the wheel and making it happen. You flicking the reins and getting the horses to go whether or not they want to. It's like it's going to happen. So this is the misalignment. You using your willpower, your forcing anything to happen at this point is a misalignment. So what you think needs to happen, remember, Pluto rules surrender, okay? So whatever you think needs to happen, you actually have to let go of that expectation. What is going on in your life that feels so intense, something that you really desperately want, and you're trying to make it happen, you actually need to release it. You need to let go of that, because truly, when you do, you gotta stop chasing it. There's this, I had a beautiful conversation with a wonderful friend. She was swimming with the dolphins, and it was magical, and the dolphins were moving, and she was trying to swim super fast to reach them and catch them and chase them. And she was, and the faster she would try to chase, the further they got away. And she immediately heard this voice in her head that said, "Why are you chasing them? Stop chasing." And so she stopped. And again, she was exhausting herself because she was working so hard and pushing herself so hard to have this magical experience. And then what ended up happening is when she stopped trying to chase, she just became still. She started to just float in the water. And lo and behold, the dolphins actually started to surround her and became more playful and came to her. Okay, so that's part of it. Okay. Okay, so what do we need to surrender? What part of is no longer compatible with where you're going? The surrender aspect to the misalignment is surrender to your soul's path. Okay? Your life's journey has been perfectly designed for your soul's growth. Embrace every lesson and every moment. That is not an easy thing to hear when things are falling apart, so it seems. Things feel like you've made mistakes. It feels like you have you need to go back to something that maybe that doesn't feel so super good, because at least it was better than where you are now. There's all of these things that are coming to the surface, and you actually get to choose to believe that your life's journey has been perfectly designed for your soul's growth. Embrace every lesson. Okay, it's not every success. It's not every good thing. It is every lesson. Everything that may have felt like a mistake, they're all just lessons. There's nothing that's good or bad. And ultimately embrace every moment. The second card is the tension point. What is the adjustment I'm being asked to make? Okay, this is the sacred pivot, the shift in behavior, perspective, communication, or identity that will open the path forward. Okay, this is this is the adjustment. This is the pivot. This is what's going to open the path forward. It may not feel easy. It rarely does, but it will feel true. Ooh, he is so handsome. This is the King of Swords. Okay. Now, what I really love so much about the King of Swords is he's very logical, right? He kind of gives off a little bit of Scorpio energy, don't you think? Plus, we've got like bats and ravens and swords, but we also have an owl down here and a dragonfly over here, and his really cool raven feather vest or whatever. But there's so many beautiful signs and omens and things that are so swords often indicate like logic. Okay, logic, and we've got a king, so he's a leader. He's really good and great at what he does. And yet leading through logic, leading through communication, things like that. However, we're surrounded by all of these omens, all of these things. And something that I find really interesting is, and I bring this up a lot because it actually has made such a profound impact in my life, is Pluto, the planet of death and rebirth. Okay, I'm bringing it in. My dad passed away in November, so about 6 months ago, and we were all of his kids, there's 6 of us, were asked to speak at his funeral. And I was talking to one of my sisters about what she was going to say at his funeral. And she and I were just talking about lessons we learned, things, and like kind of the legacy of what he left and what we learned from him and all of that. Well, she decided to ask ChatGPT what it means to be human. And what it means to be human is to make meaning out of things. Okay? So we have this King of Swords that is asking for an adjustment. And it's like, hey, use your best logic here. That maybe logic doesn't even work, because logic, you're going to make meanings. What does it mean for you to see the raven? What does it mean when you see a dragonfly or an owl? Or what could the possibilities of when you go throughout your day, your connection to every moment, your connection to every option, not option, more like every interaction, everything that's coming to the surface, like everything that you're being asked to engage with. I had an experience with some flowers a couple weeks ago. It was actually on my birthday, and I was doing some meditating, and I happened to decide to open my eyes during my meditation. And I had I've gotten a flower subscription from a local flower farmer, and so I get it's been the best thing that I've bought, by the way, for myself. But I was meditating, and I opened my eyes, and these flowers were right there. And I started to just look at these flowers, and I was like, my goodness, they are so beautiful. There's no reason for them to be as beautiful as they are. Yes, what do you need? Sorry about that. Dinner was needing help. Okay, so I was meditating, and I opened my eyes, and I saw these beautiful flowers. Not these ones, but they were tulips. And I just had the thought, like, okay, they have a purpose. They do have a purpose of being pollinated, of like having, that there is some intention behind it. However, there is no need for them to be as beautiful as they are. And as I was just like engaging with them and just admiring them and recognizing that the intention of them being so beautiful really had more to do with me experiencing them. And I told this to a friend of mine, and she said, yes, and then they get to experience you experiencing them. And I really do think that life is this way. And so when we get to this point of king, right, of leadership, of seeing this in a way that's like everything has meaning, everything has opportunity, everything is set up the way that they're set up, because otherwise, like, there's no reason for the thing. I mean, there might be a reason. We get to make meaning of it. We get to make meaning of the things that are happening in our lives, and including that there's no reason for them to be there. Okay? So if you want to engage with the energy that is coming up, the emotions, the intensity, the themes that are coming to the surface in your life that just don't feel fair, that you feel victimized by, that you feel is pointless, is a problem. You get to make it mean all of those things, or you can flip the script in it. And I love this so much because the surrender card is surrender your belief in scarcity. Not even just surrender scarcity, it's surrender your belief in scarcity. The universe is asking you to open to the infinite nature of abundance. In this way, you can remove blocks in your life and succeed beyond your wildest dreams. This is the adjustment. This is the opportunity that you have to let go of level 1 because you're now on level 2. And you can't take in that scarcity. You can't take in those limiting beliefs, those lesser ways of thinking of, I am victimized. This is a problem. I made mistakes. There's no point. No one likes me. Everybody hates me. I'm going to go eat worms. That is not going to happen. You can't take that in with you to level 2 or the level that you've moved up to. Okay. So that's the adjustment. Now, level 3, card 3 is the integration path. What skill, gift, or support can I lean into to ease the shift? This is not super easy. It's easy to be like, oh yeah, surrender your belief in scarcity. And it's like, okay, but that's also been working for me for 40 years. So what do I do now? Okay, so here's the gift. Here's the new. Okay, we've got the 6 of cups. Excuse me, not cups. 6 of swords. 6 of swords. And I love this so much because it's like, okay, look, you're on a journey. You're in the boat. You're moving across rough waters. This is not an easy journey. You're in the middle of a storm, for goodness sakes. And yet, it's the storm that gets us to where we need to be. If it's smooth sailing in soft waters, guess what? It takes us a whole heck of a lot longer to get to where we want to be. Now, the beautiful thing with the 6 of swords is there's help. You can see that the birds are actually pulling the boat to where it needs to be. Have you ever been to the ocean? Have you ever been in the waves? And if you're just playing, if you're just like enjoying the water, and if you're in the water and enjoying it, and you know, boogie boarding or whatever, surfing, I have never done that, but even just like playing with the waves. After some time, you can look up and be like, oh my gosh, I'm like, wait, my stuff is like a whole ways away from where I started, because you got to engage with the water and it took you to where you needed to be. Now, when you fight the water, when you fight it and you try to like force yourself to stay in one place and to continue to be in the one spot where your stuff is, my battery's almost dead. You end up exhausting yourself. You end up creating less fun. It's definitely less fun. So this is the reminder that, hey, the gift is that you're on this journey. So if you can remember that this is part of it, what's happening right now is part of the gig. It is, you did not make mistakes. This isn't a problem. This is an up-leveling. And as you're in the storm, you up-leveled, and guess what? It opened up, and maybe you're in the dragon's lair, because it's a little scary. It's a little scary when it's unknown and you didn't know that there were dragons around and things are popping out of the corners, and you're like, whoa, I can't grab my bearings. Well, there's help. There's help on the way, and you can trust that there's help, and you can also ask for the help. But ultimately, another beautiful high vibrational characteristic of Pluto is trust. Scorpio and Pluto is trust. Very, very much values trust. So here's your opportunity to trust in the process, trust in the journey, and trust that this is part of it. This is, if you think about that as being the gift, like, oh, the gift is you get to trust. You get to really master trusting that you're being pulled to exactly the spot that you need to be. And the wind and the turbulence and all of it is actually pushing you exactly to where you need to be. Okay, so the surrender. This is the gift or skill that's going to support you in the shift. Surrender resentments. If you're holding on to those resentments, it's going to be a whole heck of a lot harder to move forward into the lair of the dragon. So it says surrender resentments. Holding on to resentments only poisons you. Try to forgive others for their shortcomings and keep moving forward toward positive situations in your life. Okay, this is tricky because this is where the snake comes in, the year of the snake. I do not think it is a coincidence that so much shedding is happening with people, relationships, jobs, beliefs. Like, so much is happening this year for a lot of people that I am acquainted with, and I'm assuming you as well, particularly relationships. And so you have to remember the shedding. This is the year of the snake. The snake definitely sheds. It transforms. It becomes a whole new thing. And guess what? You can have gratitude for the skin that you were in, or the conditions that supported you for so long, for the people that surrounded you, the belief systems, the whatever it is that held you and supported you for so long. But now the skin is too tight. It's too constricted, is no longer working for you, and it doesn't feel good. And so this whole full moon in Scorpio is not conducive to your growth if you stay in the skin. So you're molting, you're moving out of that skin, and you are shedding it. And it is not an easy process. And part of the shedding is surrendering the resentments. And so you have to, because you don't have to be mad at the skin that supported you for all of those years. You don't have to be like, ugh, but then it became too small. I resent the fact that skin became too small. You just get to, because guess what? When the snake moves out of its skin, it does not look back at its old skin and is like, oh, but that was such a beautiful skin. I want to get back in there. No, it just slithers on, maybe with some gratitude in its heart that it's no longer in that skin anymore. So you get to release and surrender all of the things, people, places that is being asked of you to surrender at this time, including resentments. Forgive their shortcomings and keep moving forward. That's what I thought of when it said keep moving forward. I was like, oh, we need to move through the skin and keep going. We're not looking back. Okay, last jumper card. Oh, we got a King of Cups. All right, so we've got some definite big leader stuff. Okay, so this is, whoever is watching this, you are on the you're the leader. You're the one that is creating, is paving the path, is going first, is moving forward. And I love the balance of the logic and the feeling, the head and the heart. Okay. And so you get to decide how you are engaging. And he's in water, right? Cups are always water. So you get to decide how, and then air, water and air, right? We're the depths of the ocean and the high mountaintops. So you get to decide how you're going to engage with this. But ultimately, it's not easy because you're one of the first to go through it. You're awake. You're awake. And this is an opportunity for you to not turn around and go backwards. You actually get to move forward with trust, Pluto, and surrender to what the path is unfolding before you. Okay. Good luck. Godspeed. And really, ultimately, just remember that if you can relax into the waves, into the power of, I'm going to go with another metaphor. Okay. You thought I was done, but I'm not. I was a birth doula for 10 years. And so I attended women in childbirth, and I taught, I was trained in and taught for a long time hypnobirthing. And the concept of hypnobirthing is when you release and relax all of your muscles, then you actually reduce the pain that you feel. So if you, because there is such thing, it's called the fear, tension, pain cycle. When you fear something, you tense up those muscles, you tense up your body, and that tension actually generates more pain. And then the pain creates more fear, tension, pain. It's a cycle, okay? And so as a doula, if I could help a expecting mother and a mother in childbirth to relax, even though she was feeling this intense pain, this intense contraction, this flexing of her whole uterine muscle, if she could still breathe through it and relax her body, her muscles, release into it. Like if you think about getting beat up by the ocean waves, and if you fight them, you end up exhausted. But if you relax into the ocean, you end up getting taken to where you want to be. So if you relax your muscles around as much as you can, and including your like you'd think like, oh, I gotta relax my pelvis and my abdomen and my hips and stuff. Actually, it begins in the mouth. And so if you start speaking your truth, if you start using those muscles, your whole body will shift. You will actually create, because that's part of what this whole Scorpio full moon is pulling to the surface. What's coming to the surface? Because you need to talk about it. You need to utilize your voice, your throat chakra, and you need to create an opportunity to express yourself in a way that is your truth, that honors yourself, and trust that what it is part of you up leveling. Okay, so relax into the hard. Release all of your muscles. Meditate if you can and will, and just breathe. Okay.